You're live.
Okay, here we go.
Hello.
How'd you do it?
I'll tell you later.
Go see if I'm live.
I'll check now.
Is anyone there? Hello?
Let me see.
We had some extreme technical difficulties, but we're up and running.
You're up.
Sorry about that, everybody. We tested this out yesterday, and it worked perfect. I think it was an internet issue, but we got it resolved. Better later than never. So I'm Randy at the back nine. So anyway, I hope some people hop back on. Pleasant Prickles, thank you for getting on. I would say this is embarrassing, but I don't think it was my fault. I don't know if any of you who are sheltered at home are having the same issues. Our internet is very wonky, for lack of a better term, on our TV, on our computers, and everything. And I think it was a bandwidth issue, but we're up, thank God. Every lunch is a little late. So thank you. Pleasant Prickles asks, if I could play today, where would I play? Okay, so I'm based in Maryland, pretty close to Washington, D.C., and we have a lot of great courses in the area. One of my favorites is about 20 minutes north in Urbana, Maryland. It's called Whiskey Creek. So if I had a chance to play today, I would play Whiskey Creek. It's a fun course. It's an Ernie Els design, and every hole's different. So I really like Whiskey Creek. Hello, Mitch Barlow. Mitch. Mitch is someone I play with, and he is a great example of okay, so Mitch says, after reading your review of the Speed Zone irons, I purchased a set. It was an awesome upgrade from the Ping G20s. Yeah, I know. I actually play with Mitch, and he was playing with some dated G20s, and I did the review on the Speed Zone irons, and the demo set I had, I let Mitch try, and wow, did we both notice an improvement. He got a lot of extra distance. They seem more forgiving. They launch easier. I think the newer technology really helped him with those. Would you agree to that, Mitch? Okay, and then Mitch will be back in a minute, but he's hitting the ball probably 20 yards further. He's getting more loft, higher ball flights. And as I said in my review of the irons, I still think they're one of the easiest sets of irons I've ever hit. Hi, Mash. Mash is on. Mash is another good example of when you change equipment and you get fitted properly, you get a lot of benefit out of it. So Mash was playing an old set of AP1s from Titleist, and one day I played with him, and I said, man, you're really struggling with those. He was really getting frustrated with his middle irons. He went to Gotham and Tyson's Corner, had a fitting with club fitter Nick, who you saw in previous episodes, and they put him in Rogue X's with the what's the equivalent of the KBS Tour 90 shaft. He loves the iron so much he just bought a second set. So I can tell how much more consistent he is with these irons than he was with his old set. Mash, which irons do you think are for better players? The Titleist. I think he's referring to the Titleist he was playing before. Yeah, I've always felt that Titleists make clubs in general for better golfers. They've never really been a game improvement golf equipment company. That's true with their irons mainly. They have made a few drivers that I think could fit us average golfers. One was an old 915. It was really forgiving, had an undercut channel in the driver. I really like that driver. But in general, I think Titleist is first a ball company, and they focused a majority of their marketing and research on balls. That's where they make their most money. They don't have a huge market share in equipment. Mash does play with, he's telling me, their 917 driver. And it's interesting. He hits it good, but he found out that there were two types of Mitsubishi Diamante red shafts that he was playing with. One he hit really well and one he didn't. I don't remember the details, but once he matched up the one he hit well, he was pretty consistent with those. He also hits the 917 hybrids really well. A lot of people like them. Mitch upgraded recently to a Ping G410 Plus, which I still think is one of the top 3 drivers from a 10 handicap on up. It's very forgiving. It's not quite as long as some of the modern technology, but all around, it's a great iron. Alex asks, can women and men use the same kind of clubs, or do brands make separate lines? It's a cool question. They do make separate lines. The major difference between a men's set and a women's set is weight. The women's sets tend to be lighter and shorter shafts due to height. But I would say to a woman who wants to buy clubs to get a fitting, because not always that shorter shaft length fits a female golfer. Many men who are 5'7", 5'8", many women are the same height. So I think getting a shaft fitting would be really important. Mash is telling me, so the Mitsubishi Diamante red that he got is the one that's one directional, and that he was hitting good and the other was not. So this is supposed to be a lunchtime chat. I'm going to try not to eat too much and talk at the same time, although my voice is getting dry. Oh, okay, I had it wrong. Okay, Mash, tell me which is the shaft that you wound up ending up with that you hit well, because I'm a little confused now. While he's doing that, I have a couple things to go over. So most of us are sheltered at home. I'm 61. Maryland does have a number of outbreaks. And just a quick pause. Mash found the multi-directional shaft, the one that was right for him, and not the one directional. I don't know enough about him to tell you the difference, other than I saw a big difference when he hit them. But most of us are sheltered in place. We're finding it difficult to get our golf fix. It's something that we all have in common, that we all like. It's a passion. I miss seeing my friends who I play with. So it's tough. I have 2 items left to review. Unfortunately, I can't get to Golfdom in Tyson's Corner to get to get new stuff to review. They have a couple things set up for me. But I will do 2 more reviews in the next week or 2 and kind of spread them out so you guys have some content to watch during being sheltered at home. And I'm going to try to come up with more ideas on doing some of these streams or content, but I'm not going to do it just for the sake of clickbait and stuff. I want to make it fun. Michelle asked, I really enjoyed the interview you did. Do you plan to do more? I do. The interview with Nick was great. I hope you all got a lot of valuable information from him. He knows his stuff. Every time he's advised me, he's been dead on. I would love to do more. I'm trying to get a live virtual interview with a head pro in the area to talk about his challenges during the coronavirus. His course is closed. I understand his maintenance people are still on the grounds, cutting the grass and the greens, but not the rough. It'll be interesting to see how golf courses survive this. I guess it depends on how long it's going to go. One way Mitch is practicing, which he wrote, is he bought wiffle balls, and he's hitting wiffle balls in his yard, which I did remember doing as a kid. Anything to get outside and do golf, whatever floats your boat. I tried some chipping in the backyard. I have a fairly nice backyard for that. It's kind of like giving an alcoholic their first drink. It's torture. But it was good to chip and get out. I just didn't cure my addiction to golf. So, question out there. Is anyone currently playing golf? I know some courses in Virginia are open, even though they're on somewhat of a lockdown. I'm not quite sure how that works. If you are, what part of the country are you in, and what courses are you playing? So while we're waiting to hear from that, I want to go over a few things with you that I thought you might find fun and interesting. So TaylorMade has a new ball out called the Tour Response. I think you guys can see this. It's an interesting ball. Nick recommended it to me. It is a 3-piece ball with a urethane cover, and it fits kind of in that price range. It's $34.99, of a step down from the $45 and $50 a dozen balls. I have played it several rounds in the cold, up to about 65 degrees. I notice I get a lot of roll out of it, so I'm getting extra distance, and it launches really easily. I'm really anxious to try to play it on a warm day because it is a low compression ball. It's only 40 compression. So in warm weather, a ball that low may hurt your distance. But in the colder temperatures, it was a terrific, ball to try. It is a 3-piece ball, and it's brand new from TaylorMade. So I'll let you know in a later video or chat what I thought of the Tour Response golf balls. So that's those. So I'm planning that, Mash, it's really low. That's probably why we liked it, or I liked it during the cold weather. I normally can't play low compression balls in the summer, but I don't swing fast enough to compress like Pro V1s. So I have to find that 70 compression ball. And I know a couple companies make them, and I will be on the hunt for a new ball this year. Mash plays the TaylorMade Distance Plus. I believe it's a 2-piece ball with a Surlyn cover. He gets a ton of roll out of them, and it's a little bit harder ball, but it's a good ball for the average golfer to hit, and I think they're really affordable, Mash, like $15 a dozen. You'll let me know. So another thing, let me show you. So, talking about the two things. So Mash just made a great comment. The balls he plays, he gets a lot of distance and hits them well, but they aren't great on hard greens because there's not enough spin to hold them. But that's also why they're good off the tee, because he gets a good rollout. They're $20 a dozen on Amazon, and Pleasant Prickles is right. That's a deal. So anyway, I have two items left to review. The first item left to review, if you can see this, try to put up to the camera. That is the new Mizuno ST200, which I have been playing with now for about more than 3 weeks because we've been on lockdown for 2. I played with this quite a bit, and I still have it because I can't get back to Gotham to return it. I'm going to do a review on this coming soon, so that I will have to do. And then, I don't know if you can see behind me here, but I have a beautiful set of Ping i500s. And they are a really good looking club. Very simple. From the top at address, let me try to do this. No, it's kind of hard. From the top at address, it's a thin top line, and it's got medium offset, more than I would suspect from a player's profile iron. These are to compete with the TaylorMade P790s, the Mizuno MP20 HMBs. They're hollow. They're somewhat strong lofted. I've played a few rounds with these. I have some more to do, but I might do a review on these based on the rounds I've played with so far. They're a gorgeous club. And as I've told you before, let's see if I can get this over. I have my KBS Tour 90s in them, regular flex. That's the shaft I've been fitted for. Matt's on. Matt says he knows someone who played in Virginia yesterday and that it was pretty busy and slow round. I would welcome a 5-hour round at this point. Matt, do you know what course they played? Now, I think the public courses in Virginia are closed because they are also on shelter at home. But from what I've heard, some of the private courses are open. You just have to walk on. There's no carts, no pull carts or anything. But that'd be cool if Matt could let us know where they played. So another thing that I'm demoing, which I don't do often, there's a new trend in golf right now. And a lot of people on YouTube are talking about it. A lot of the OEMs are talking about it. And that's going to lighter shafts. That is in an effort to increase club head speed. I know guys with single-digit handicappers that are trying it to get more distance. And, of course, guys 61 years old like me, older, younger, who swing slower. It might be something worth looking into. I think there may be a control issue with such a light shaft, but I think you can deal with that in a couple different ways. So the current shaft that I got sent to demo from Gotham, see if I can show it to you guys. Oban is a company that makes very high-end shafts. But in recent years, they've come out with some more affordable lines, quality shafts. They used to be made in Japan, but I think I've heard they're not anymore. They might be. I should have done my research, but I don't know. But this is an affordable shaft compared to their $300 and $400 shafts. This shaft's $175. And this is the Devotion 4 regular flex. So Oban does not, this is a driver shaft. I don't believe they make steel iron shafts yet. they make 13 different driver shafts from this, which is a more of an average golfer, all the way to pro tour golfer. So use them quite a bit. If you ever see a bright purple shaft on tour, that's an O-band. This shaft here is 48 grams. So the shafts I've been playing lately are 55 to 60. That's what it was fitted for. But I am curious to see if a lighter weight shaft will give me more club head speed. The other thing that new shafts are doing, new companies and drivers, which are great for guys who swing over 100 miles an hour, but not for me. So the new trend is lighter shafts and also higher spinning shafts. I have demoed a higher spinning shaft, and it made a difference. It's the shaft that's in the Mizuno. I got 8 more yards, 10 more yards average, but it really launched, and I got really good roll out of it. So the Mizuno ST200 is generally a low spinning driver, but when you put a high spinning shaft in it, it really made a difference. And that's why fittings are so important and not buying off the rack. So that's what's coming up. Anything else here? Matt, did you ever find out what course they played at in Virginia? Doesn't look like it. So what are you guys doing to pass the time? I know most of us are sheltering at home, limiting our trips out, and trying to stay safe. Mash asked a great question. With the shaft technology today, does it matter the loft of the driver? It matters a lot. It matters a lot. So if you look at a company like TaylorMade, they make the new Sim and the Sim Max. The Sim is a low driver. It's Tiger's driver. The Sim Max is a little bit higher spinning, still a lowish spinning driver. I found both of those clubs, I will talk more about them another day, to not be very forgiving and not consistent on distance. But yes, the shaft in the club head today is the biggest combination to deal with. Matt said it was Raspberry Falls. I've played there. That's a great course. I don't know if I would want to play now. How about you guys? Would you be comfortable going out and playing, especially people like me? I have my wife here, my daughter, and my son, and it would mean leaving them at home, sheltering in place while I was out playing golf for, most of the day. Also, I'm 61, so I'm a little bit paranoid about going out too much. But to get back to Mash's question with the shaft these days and the loft of the drivers. So when you have a low spinning driver, like the TaylorMade Sim, like the Callaway Maverick Sub-Zero, which is super low spinning, and even the standard Maverick is low spinning. And low spinning is the trend, but it's the wrong trend in my opinion. Low spinning drivers only benefit people who swing really quick. And that's why you see people like Tiger and Dustin, Rory playing these drivers. Tiger's now playing the Sim driver from TaylorMade. So if you have a low spinning driver, you have 2 solutions to help you hit it if you're determined to hit a low spinning driver. And unless you have a really fast swing speed, there's no benefit to hitting a low spinning driver. They're less forgiving. You'll have a hard time launching them and carrying them. But if you want to connect the shaft to a low spinning driver, with a low spinning driver, you need more loft. Now, I normally play a 10.5. I have tried up to 12-degree drivers and low spinning drivers. Match that with a higher spinning shaft. Shafts have spin characteristics in them, and a mid to low kick point. The lower the kick point, the higher your launch. So a high kick point means you're going to launch it low kick point, high, but a low mid is normally good. So you would need to match a Maverick Sim, Callaway Sub-Zero, Mizuno ST200, all those drivers which are low spin. You would need to pick a club head that's adjustable. You could get a 10.5, which I think can go up to 12. And you would need to get a shaft that is high launching and higher spinning. And you can go to a golf site like GolfWorks, and it'll give you a lot of specs of the shafts that are available. You can also go to the manufacturers and do that. So that is the shaft versus low spin driver head issue. So MASH would be comfortable playing. That's interesting. Only one person with 15 to 20 minute lead times between starts. I can understand that. But again, with a wife and 2 children at home, I would feel guilty leaving them here while I was out playing golf. That's an individual's choice. As soon as we can get out there safely and my family can get out there and do social things, I don't think I would be comfortable doing it until then. Once that happens, I will get out and play and not complain about slow play for a long time. Is anyone else, I know Mitch is hitting wiffle balls right now. Is anyone else doing anything to kind of get their golf fix? I know there are a lot of people on YouTube trying to provide content. Some of it's okay. Some of it, they're doing it to keep their revenue stream going because they need the views and the clicks. It's not just something I'm not going to do. If I don't have a review to offer, which I enjoy doing, or doing something like this with I enjoy doing, I'm not going to post something just for the sake of making money. We have a question. Okay, so Pleasant Prickles asks, I feel like sterilizing share carts between group even after this epidemic would be a good idea. Do you think there may be any other changes to golf protocol as a result of the pandemic? That's interesting. So before they stopped playing and closed the course, they would sterilize the carts between rounds. I think when courses first open, you may see only one person in a cart at a time. That would feel safe to me. I don't know how quickly they'll go back to sharing carts. A lot of courses before they closed took out the pins and put in a styrofoam tube. And if you hit the tube, that means you made the putt. I'm sure they'll go back to flag sticks, but I don't know if that'll be right away as well. Will there be other changes to golf protocol as a result of the pandemic? Well, first, I don't think in life in general we'll see people shaking hands much anymore. I was raised to shake people's hands. I think you're going to see a lot more fist pumping in the future and not shaking hands. I think you're going to see effects from the pandemic on the golf course and in society for a long time, as far as people getting close to strangers and backing up on tee boxes where there may be 2 groups on a tee box. You're not going to all be standing. I don't think people are going to be standing together like they used to be. People will wait back till the group in front of them hits. I think you're going to see a lot of stuff like that for a long time. And I think it's going to take a long time for things to get back to relatively normal on the course. Matt got a new my putting mat came. out of the box this morning. Okay, so you're going to start practicing putting. I do that year round, so I think that's a great idea. I think anyone can do that. The putting mats are inexpensive. I happen to have a carpet that rolls about 10 on the stimp meter, and it has some uneven spots, so it's kind of good to putt on. I think putting inside is good. If you have an outside putting range, is good. Will you get your golf fix from it, or it will be more frustrating that you can't play? That's the interesting question. I found that chipping in the backyard, which I do often when I play, was fun for the first 20 minutes. And then it got frustrating knowing that now that I'm chipping really good in the backyard, I can't go out and play in an hour. So I hope people get their fix from that, and it helps. I know Mitch really enjoys hitting his wiffle balls, and that's great. For me, it's a little frustrating. Let's see. So how long does everyone think it's going to take? And we're just talking here, just us, for courses around the country to start getting open. Now, I know it's different state by state. I live in Maryland. All the Maryland courses are closed. And I think it's an interesting question how quickly they'll open up recreation and golf compared to other things. I played golf before the courses were closed and before we were sheltering at home. I felt very safe. I don't know if I would feel safe now, but the course that I played at, which was Falls Road near my house, you had no interaction with the staff. They were at a table probably 15 feet from you, and there was a little credit card box. They stopped taking cash. So you would just put your card in, ring it up, and you wouldn't get a receipt. And so that felt fairly safe. The staff there, when they had carts, were wiping down and disinfecting the carts before they went out. And then me and some friends would always bring Clorox wipes and wipe them down as well. The course made some great suggestions, published some great suggestions back then before things changed, which was one, don't touch the flag. Just leave it in. And then they moved from the flag to the foam implant that you hit. They made recommendations, for example, don't pick up someone else's golf ball, which you might have a tendency to do in the green if it's near you. Don't hand someone their equipment. So I felt pretty safe out there. The only thing they didn't do was limit one golfer per cart. And I think that may have been a little mistake in hindsight. It's a great, you're outdoors, you're really not close to people, but you can get close to people. Like I said, tee boxes can back up. Some people aren't as appreciative of the situation as others, and they do stupid things that we can't control sometimes. So, yeah, I'm, hoping this passes and that people will be smart. Matt brought up, he thinks it's going to be June in Maryland at the earliest to play, and I agree. I think it will be the mid to end of June. And I think even then, they're going to have to still use caution like they did before they shut down. I think they're going to have to start out with one person per cart. They're going to have to leave the flags out so people don't touch them and stagger groups so you don't pile up on tee boxes. But I agree, Matt. I think it's going to be mid to late June at best, and more likely into July. We'll see. I think our governor's doing a pretty good job, but we'll see. I agree, June. I hate to admit it, but it seems that way. I got to talk about golf stores. I mean, so you have not many small golf shops left. As you all know, I get my equipment to demo from Gotham and Tyson's. They're the only game in town in this area, and this isn't giving. I don't get anything from them, but they're an amazing golf shop. I mean, they carry every brand. Their clothing line's unbelievable. They have 4 or 5 custom hitting bays and then a bunch of normal ones, and they have a really loyal following since Dick's closed a lot of Golf Galaxies in the area. So people from Maryland are crossing a bridge into Virginia in traffic to go to Gotham. It's one of the only places left where you can really go, get a new shaft, get your clubs regripped. I wouldn't go to Dick's for that. The few times I've been there, I have to ring a bell to get someone up there, and half the time they're not a golf person. So I worry about golf stores like Gotham, which is privately owned. They are fulfilling eBay and online orders. So you could go to their website, place an order, and they would ship it to you. So Matt has 2 young daughters, Jenna and Alexis, and they said we should be able to play golf now. Just saying. I agree with you guys. We should. But we can't. And as soon as we can, we should go up to Needwood's executive course with your dad and play a little. I worry about shops like Gotham because there's not a lot of stores left like that. In our area, Golfsmith closed all their stores. Many of the Golf Galaxies closed. Gotham is one of the only stores left that will give you a fair price on trade-in toward a new set. They have a great master club fitter and one other who's really good. And they really cater to loyal clientele who can no longer golf there. Shop there. I don't know how long they can stay open. I assume their rent's pretty high. They're in a high rent district. I don't know if the online sales will stabilize their store long enough. I sure hope so. They're smart there, so I hope they figure it out. I know there's some more smaller shops in the area. I don't know how they're going to do it. Gotham's a big shop. They do big volume, so financially they may be able to weather this. I think you're going to see some smaller stores go out of business, unfortunately. And that's really sad to me because I do not like the big box stores. Pleasant Prickles asks, can you order online from Gotham? You can. They have 2 online things. They have an eBay store, and you can order online or call them and place an order, and then they'll have the manufacturer ship it direct to you, to your house, so it doesn't have to go through them. Another thing is, how are the OEMs dealing with this? The manufacturers. First quarter report for Callaway, they were down 25%. Before this happened, they make really expensive equipment, and they make some affordable stuff. The Maverick line's affordable, but their drivers are $550, and their better irons are way over $1,000. And I think they closed for a little while during this. I think they're open again. And they are the biggest. They have the biggest market share. But what is it saying when the largest market share of golf manufacturers, their first quarter earnings report was down 25%. So then you got companies like TaylorMade, Titleist. Titleist does not sell a lot of equipment. They sell golf balls. I don't think people are buying golf balls right now. You've got Cobra, which isn't a large market share. Maybe they don't have the huge inventory that some of the others do. I'm shocked by going online now that I don't see massive sales, because if this lasts months, you're going to have a couple issues. You're going to have stores like Gotham and even Dick's with inventory that's been sitting on the shelves for months. And it's going to take a long time for golf play to get back to normal. People are not going to be rushing out right away to buy new equipment. A lot of people are off work. A lot of people's income hasn't been impacted. And the last thing on their mind is when Dick's reopens, or a golf store reopens, I'm going to run out and drop $1,200 on a set of golf irons. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how the golf industry reacts to this. I think you're going to see some less successful privately owned clubs go out of business who were already teetering on that or for sale. And I think if the golf equipment manufacturers were smart, they would start offering some really good sales, because I don't think their sales are going to bounce back maybe the rest of this year. I really don't see that, between the number of people that are financially impacted and between how long it's going to take golf to get back to the numbers it was, and that could take a couple seasons. Yeah, I think that's a real challenge for those companies. And then you have other things to consider. You have, resort destinations that aren't doing anything right now. Yeah, it's going to affect the entire golf world, as it is affecting the entire world in any sport, any industry, or anything like that. I am hoping to get 2 sets of clubs mailed to me that Gotham has said they're going to make up with my shafts to demo for you guys. And I'm hoping to get those in the next week or two. And I have a launch monitor. I'm building a net in my backyard. And Mash, thanks for being on. I hope I get to see you soon. And take care and stay safe. So I'm hoping to get a net put up in my yard with a GC quad and a mat, and at least be able to do some initial testing on stuff without playing. So if I can work this out with Gotham to have them send me equipment, that would be terrific. And I'll try to get that done for you and give you my initial thoughts. I really like to take the clubs on the course for several rounds, if not a couple weeks. Sometimes I get whole sets. Sometimes they get me like 4 irons to try. But they have to have my shaft in it to give it a fair trial, and not the stock shafts. I think from my first chat, even though it was late, I really appreciate everyone that hopped on. I really do. I'm going to try to do this again. I was hoping to provide a little distraction for people from the news, from what's going on in the world. Have some fun. Have some lunch if you're eating. And this pickle we're in is here for a while. It's not fun for anyone. Anyone that's sick, I wish you a speedy recovery. You're in my prayers. I want to thank all the first responders. Like everyone else, I see them every once in a while going by, and I think what that must be like for them on their calls, as well as police officers, nurses, doctors. I hope we get through this sooner than later. I hope we learn from this on how to be prepared, how to react, and how to avoid the type of situation we're in now in the future if it ever happens again. Stay safe, everybody. Follow the guidelines. Stay at home. And that's the best thing we can do to not only keep ourselves and our families safe, but for making others safe. Again, thank you for tuning in. I always end my videos with hit 'em straight. I will end this video, as my light just went out, with when we're able to get out there, let's all hit 'em straight. Thank you again for tuning in, and look for my upcoming reviews on the Ping i500 irons and the Mizuno ST200. Have a great afternoon.